God body is simple. It means you see God when you look in the mirror, and that the body of man is God, and that there's no mystery God in the sky. You are God.
And hey, what's going on, Pam? How's it going? We are here. I got a special guest today. I just met a couple weeks ago, but I found this book so fascinating, Moving Your Body Intelligently. I had to get him on. So, Pam, give a warm welcome to Fabio 𝙑𝙬𝙑. Did I say that right? The Italian Dutchman?
Well, Italians say 𝙑𝙬𝙑.
Yeah. Oh, how do you say it in Italy?
In Italy, they say 𝙑𝙬𝙑.
𝙑𝙬𝙑. Okay,
Yeah.
Fabio 𝙑𝙬𝙑. And how about in Dutch? How do you say it?
They say 𝙑𝙬𝙑.
Oh, that's harder. 𝙑𝙬𝙑.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta practice.
I like 𝙑𝙬𝙑. I like it.
Yeah, well, English, you see the D, then the apostrophe, 𝙑𝙬𝙑.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
I'm trying the best I can. I'm mispronouncing everything out here in the Netherlands. But yeah, thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. I found your book very fascinating. We got to speaking through your client, Boss. He connected us, so thank you so much, Boss, because you were working with him, and he was telling me about your theory, what you did wellness-wise with him, and I was so intrigued. He was kind enough to connect us, and so then here we are. You sent me a copy of your book, and I find it super fascinating because I think we try to accomplish the same things, but from a different perspective. Different. But why don't we take it from the beginning?
I tell you the opposite.
Yeah. We're like the opposites, but we're trying to do the same thing, which is empower people through exercise, get them healthy and get them connected with their bodies and their mind state and emotions at the same time.
Yeah.
So, but we just use different pathways. That's it. Yeah,
of course.
Just different pathways. So we'll take it from the top. Why don't you tell me? Let's start because I've been looking through your book. Let's start from your youth. How were you active in sports? How did you get involved with sports? And then we'll get into your how you transitioned to fitness and training. What happened to you? What was your life-changing experience? So we'll start from what was your fitness history?
My fitness history. Well, I was born in the woods. My house was in the woods, and I was climbing the trees, and I was running all the time. And I'm just a guy who loves to move, and it was just a matter of time for me to do also sports and exercise. So I was born with this
passion,
this excitement about movement. Yeah.
And what kind of sports did you get into?
Well, not all sports, but a lot of sports. I'm not like a guy that only plays tennis all the time, but I'm fascinated by all kinds of body movement activities. And but I like the ball games the most.
You like stuff we like ball games like basketball, tennis,
soccer is very popular here in Europe.
Ping pong, I read in your book.
Yeah, we got a table right here. So
that's interesting. So then let's talk about what was your life-changing experience, man? What happened to you at the peak of your athletic career?
We have only like 30-45 minutes, so let's go there immediately.
Yeah. Let's go there real quick.
Yeah, well, it's good to know that I am also educated in sports leadership and in sports marketing also. And I just loved it. And I was very fit guy when I was around 20 years old. Mm-hmm. And I did a lot of sports, and I worked in sports. And
how old are you now?
39.
Okay,
yeah,
good to know.
Just 2 weeks ago, I became 39. Yeah.
Oh, happy birthday, man!
Almost 40. Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm seeing a little bit of the white hair is coming.
Oh yeah, it's gonna come more too. That I know about.
Yeah. So no, but I was so enjoying life, and everything went well. And once in the summer, I went on vacation in Italy to see a few nephews of mine, because I live in the Netherlands. And I just had a great time, and I was walking in the center of Genova, which is a nice city in Italy, a very old city with a lot of small streets, and very historical. And I went there, and I began to feel strange.
Right.
And my heart was pumping very, very fast and very hard, which I didn't experience before. Yeah, maybe in sports, but not while I
Not
was
just walking around, right?
yeah. And I was sweating all of a sudden, all over my body, over my back, and also in the palm of my hand. And I thought, okay, shit, what's going on here? And all the blood went down to my stomach, so my food became white, very, very, very light. And I thought, shit, what's going on? I don't feel well. And I sat down on the ground in the middle of the street, or I lay down, and I couldn't get up anymore. And I was so scared. I thought I was getting a heart attack at that moment.
Crazy.
And I realized that the ambulance or help couldn't reach me because it was too crowded. The streets were very small. It was like a labyrinth. And there were no cars. So I thought, I'm going to die here and nobody's going to help me. And this is the end of my life. I really thought, this is it. Suddenly.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Surprised. Yeah, it was a terrible experience. But fortunately, they helped me to carry me to the car, and we went immediately to the hospital.
Right.
All the tests, like blood tests, heart tests. They asked me a lot of questions, and I waited for hours over there. And then the doctor came back, and he said, in Italian, he said, I couldn't find anything. You're okay. And I said, no, I'm not okay. I'm super scared. And I almost died today. So tell me what's going on. Tell me. I was just healthy. And I immediately fly back to the Netherlands. I thought, I'll do the test over there. But the doctor said the same. Said,
everything was fine.
Yes, she said everything was fine. And there was just one explanation for this whole story. And that's that you had a panic attack. I thought, man, I'm 23 years old. I'm super fit. I love sports. I have nothing.
You're having fun, right? You didn't have any, right?
So what about this panic attack? And I Googled it, and it was a classic panic attack. So I could just read everything exactly how I experienced it.
Wow.
Yeah. So I thought, whoa, okay. So I had a panic attack. That's heavy. But I don't want to have this ever again. It was scary. And they just kept coming. Panic attacks.
Well, how frequently were they coming? How often?
Yeah, they kept coming in the supermarket, in the cinema, in a meeting at work. They just kept coming, and in a very short time, I began to feel very down and scared. And I thought, what's going on with me, And I didn't dare to go out of my house at one moment, scared to have another panic attack.
Right.
Yeah, so
understandably so. I mean, I could definitely understand that. I would feel the same way probably.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was so surprising. But the only thing that helped at that moment was movement. Like when I was not sitting on the couch, being down and depressed, but get up, move my body. It went better. I felt better when I was doing a sport with other people. I could laugh again. So I thought, okay, the magic is in the movement. I have to be there. I have to do it. But not in the way I was used to do it. That was a big eye-opener for me. So
how are you doing it? How are you doing it before? Yeah.
I was doing it like a top athlete, like always going forward, being very hard for myself, not listening to the signals of my body, always wanted to be the best, always want to score goals, win prizes. It was all about that, but I totally forgot to get in touch with my body. So I think I missed a lot of signals in that time.
What kind of signals did you think you missed?
Being tired, headaches, maybe pain in the back, or being frustrated, being too frustrated, being stressed. Yeah, I didn't care about that. I just wanted to go forward and
Right.
get better. And yeah, but then came the big signal, the panic attack, which I
Right.
couldn't
You
ignore
couldn't
anymore.
ignore that one, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I decided to do different things differently, and that became eventually the book and my company and the method. So
Yeah. So let's talk about your method. So
yeah,
from your own personal experience, you've
yeah,
learned that engaging your mind, from what I read, and your emotions is really
yes,
is key.
the
Was really
key.
the key for you, fitness wise, and the key for so many other people that you're working with in training as well.
Yes, yes.
So before
So
we start talking about that,
yeah,
just give us what kind of clientele you're working with on the average, just so people understand, like, who
yeah.
you're
Well,
working with.
boss, you introduced him. He's the CEO of a big company here in the Netherlands. So I
Hmm.
trained a few CEOs and people with a lot of influence, just like you did. I understood.
Right, right.
So, but also to learn how to create a company around this method.
Just like
Uh,
I did.
yeah, just yeah, yeah. It's the same. So we are alike.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but when the years passed, I had a good method. It was strong, and I thought, where can I use this method in the best possible way? And that's with people who are struggling with things, like in work, or they are sick, or they are down, like I was, or they have
Hmm.
like really life issues.
Yeah,
Uh,
obstacles and challenges.
yeah, 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 exactly. Yeah, I I get the most energy from to help those people. Yeah, so
Right.
that's for now my how do you say it?
Your specialty.
Yes, a specialty. Yes,
And you get them to connect physically and emotionally and intellectually at the same
yes,
time. So let's talk about how you integrate all of those components into a workout session.
yeah. So yeah. Well, that's key. It's a triangle. So it's physically, it's emotionally, and it's yeah. You call it intellectually. I call it mentally. So
Mentally.
just how you formulate it. But yeah, I was used to do sports just physically,
Hmm.
like being good at my physical prestations, of how do you say that, results.
Right.
But now I've learned in the years how you can involve also the mind and the feelings that you feel, and that's how you do it. And first I think it's also very important, why are you doing it, you know? In your case, it's very aesthetically in some cases, I
Yeah.
understood.
In some cases, it turns out to be an aesthetic, because I find that sometimes you can reach people through a deeper meaning when you find that they're looking better. When they
Yeah,
find they're looking better and they're feeling better, they're able to perform better, and they're getting some social benefits from wellness. It's easier to introduce the other things, the spiritual wellness, and then
yeah,
almost like a bridge.
yeah, I understand. Yeah, well, that's a route, that's a way. And my way is different. I just say, when someone comes to me and wants to be more beautiful or more strong, I say, yeah, go to another personal trainer or trainer.
Right, right,
They are good at that, but I'm good in more life things. Like, what do you want to reach in life? Do you want to be a good father? Do you want a new job? Do you want to find the love of your life? That's what's really important, if you ask me. And then
right.
we're gonna look at the skills you need for that, and that are emotionally skills on emotional level, skills on a brain level, and also skills on a physical level.
Yeah,
So, for
agreed.
example, skills on emotional level, they are the most difficult to formulate. But yeah, you have to bring life in the feelings. Like in the Netherlands, people don't talk about their feelings. That's maybe
Yeah,
a
I
cultural thing.
noticed that. Yeah, I noticed
Yeah,
that.
they don't like that, and they can't feel it very good, and they can't give it words.
Hmm.
So, and that's a problem, because of course there is a lot of going on there, so we have to explore that.
Yeah.
And when we do an exercise, maybe boxing or whatever, you feel you feel things.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
when I set you under pressure, for example, you feel the pressure in your body. And then I want to know, what do you feel? Where do you feel it? And what does it tell you? So people learn the communication of the body. That's one important step I take. And then there is also the skill in the brain, more cognitive. What do you need to learn there? Like analyze or attention or self-awareness, or something that's in the brain. And we involve also that skill in the exercise. And then, of course, we have the physical exercise. Like, do you want more to work on your strength or more on your flexibility?
Mm-hmm.
Or you choose, in my method, you choose just one physical skill also. So then you have 3 skills where we work on every time.
And you do that within our session or within one exercise?
Yeah, we do that in our session, and in one session we have like 3 exercises.
Interesting.
Yeah, so the exercises are like 15 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
around 15 minutes. So they take more time,
Right.
because we also talk and we reflect on things, and we do sports and we exercise, and then we reflect again. And so people learn a lot in 1 hour. And then they get some homework.
They learn emotionally how they're feeling, and they learn how to check in with their bodies. And probably
Exactly.
because you're integrating those other 2 aspects, the mental and the emotional, they're
Yeah.
probably recruiting a lot more muscle fiber and getting more activation. So you don't have to do as many exercises, I would assume.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Because they're present and engaged. I would imagine.
Very engaged. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
that-
we
that
also
makes-
have the why, because somebody really wants something in their life, and that's a big motivation.
Right.
So they are super involved.
Yeah, I would look at it, I kind of look at it as like, the Bruce Lee movie, what is it, Game of Death, or is it Enter the Dragon? I'm not sure which one it is, but he's mentoring a young kid, right? And he tells a kid to throw a kick. So the kid throws a kick straight up, and he's like, no, it's incorrect. That kick lacked emotional content. Do it again. He throws the same kick, but it looks totally different. You can feel the energy in the kick because the kick then had emotional content. And I liken what you do to that movie, where you're having them do the movement with the emotional content. That changes everything.
Wow. Well, it's a great example. Yeah, I think you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, makes a big difference when someone is emotionally attached with the body or not. You can see it.
Right.
And you can work with it, and you can develop the skill. And that's the thing that I was surprised about. Like, are people getting better at it? I don't know. In the beginning, like 10 years ago, I didn't know. But it's true, you can develop those skills, and you can get better in it. And that's personal growth.
Yeah. The brain is a muscle. Your emotions.
Your emotions too. Yeah, your skills.
Emotions are muscles. Yeah, you can work on it. Your skill set is
that's so cool.
So, yeah, it is great. It is absolutely.
Yeah. But I think you have to choose the skills, because there are so many skills to train. But I say choose the skills first and then train them, like very focused on those skills, because those skills are important to you. You want to develop them, so we are going to focus on those.
Yeah, so for me, with a client, it's very interesting because we approached it. We have the same goal, but we approach it from a different way. Number one, I realize it's hard for people to understand that I have any other training but being muscular, because I am so muscular. So for me to teach them anything other than the physical is sometimes a disconnect. Not because I don't have the information, but because of the way they perceive me looking. They have a whole concept of my personality and construct, and it make them hard to receive certain types of information from me.
I understand.
But when I usually work with a client, it's because they want to get into the best shape in the shortest amount of time. So I transform the client physically. I also explain to them, like, the disciplines that we're learning, like the monks first started practicing Kung Fu because they were falling asleep during their meditations. So they needed the physical strength actually to hold them in the posture so they could actually transcend spiritually and mentally. So I'm always trying to hone that message in. Once I get a client in a certain level of conditioning, I say, hey, at this point, now we're just looking in the mirror, talking about how good we're looking, about how fast we're running. In order to change it from a superficial pursuit, you have to now find an activity that you can excel in that drives your motivation to train. I'm no longer the guy for you because you're not going to allow me to guide you there. Right.
Yeah.
So then they go, well, what kind of activity am I supposed to get into? I said, hey, you know, for me, it was MMA, jujitsu, kicking, because you had to be present at each time. You couldn't fake it like lifting weights. You couldn't zone out and finish the weight. You couldn't close your eyes and finish the set and not focus on your form. You actually had to be present because someone's throwing a punch back at you.
Yeah.
Or you have to kick, or you have to position, or you have to know where you're at when the round ends so you can sit closer to your chair to get more recovery, to cut the person off 5 seconds walking back to their corner, you know. So the presence about it always fascinated me. So I always told clients, now you're in shape, you're going to have a much pleasurable experience following the sport that you're passionate about, because you have a base level of fitness. You're not going to get injured. You have a base level of cardiovascular conditioning. You're not going to gas out, and you have a base level of flexibility. So you're not going to tear anything. So now you should be able to go enjoy that pursuit even more so, because now you're in shape to do it. Yeah. So I don't believe in client retention because it's too much of a personal thing for the body. I want to help you on your journey, but also refer you to other experts. Like, you know, you seem like the perfect coach after I finish transforming somebody. They say, hey, now you need to get in touch a little bit.
Now you got to go to Fabio.
Yeah. You got to go to Fabio now. Exactly. So, you know, I say all of that to say, like, to people who are watching this, there's no right or wrong way. You know, bio-individuality is everybody has a different requirement for what is their physical wellness, their mental wellness, and their spiritual wellness. It looks different for each person. So of course you should have different coaches as well, because some coaches are going to resonate to some people, and different methods other than to other people. So there's no, because I have all kinds of fitness people on this podcast, you know, some hardcore bodybuilders, and I'm able to talk to all of them and grasp something from out of them, because they're all just tools in the toolbox for me.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have any bias towards each one. Whatever gets the client in shape or gets me in the better shape as possible, that's the tool that I go to. You have people who are just CrossFit or die, bodybuilding or die.
Yes, I know those people.
Marathon or die. You know, boxing or die. I don't think I think they miss out on the journey of putting yourself into positions where you're out of your comfort zone. You know, where
exactly.
you have to reach.
Exactly. Yeah. So the personal growth is out of the comfort zone, of course. And you know, the idea that's also so fascinating is the way you move your body also influences how you feel and what you think, like literally what you think. So if you are a boxer your whole life, you think like a boxer, you know,
right?
And you feel like a boxer, and that's like a comfort zone for a boxer, because you know that. But when a boxer goes do yoga or something else, they experience a whole new feeling, and they have to show other skills,
and they have to show vulnerability, which is not used to doing boxing.
For example, so that's another type of another part of your personality or character, or how do you call it, that also needs attention, and that you also can develop, so you are a more rich person,
right?
And so that's why I love to do a lot of different sports. That's what you asked me in the beginning, because I explore so many things, so many parts of myself, which I didn't sometimes even know I had it in me. And that makes me feel like a rich person, and I love that, you know.
That's what keeps us. That's what keeps fitness addicts addicted, right? They say is that feeling you can't get from anything else. You know, the feeling that you use your body, you know, you accomplished a goal, you put yourself outside your comfort zone. You know, you have that mental talk and stabilize yourself. There's so many attributes and benefits you get from wellness. It should be something that's for everybody, but unfortunately, you know, people miss the message because of the way it's presented. Sometimes it's presented too much in a superficial. You need to look better than someone else. You need to look this way. You're not acceptable. And I think that's a big, although I do it to transform people, I'm training a lot of people in the record industry. Even those people, I try to say, hey man, if you're getting in shape for every project, that's a failure for me. I want you to be in shape for your life, and then you just have to fine tune when a project comes up.
Yeah.
That's a win for me. You know, be in shape
I
for life,
understand.
not for a project or a red carpet or for a movie or for a video. You know.
No.
So
That are
what does a day of training look like for you personally? What kind of training you doing?
what kind of training? Yeah. It's a puzzle for every person I train.
No, but for you, for you
Oh,
personally.
for me as a coach, as a trainer.
No, just as an athlete, as somebody who's working out. What's your working out looking like now? Your personal plan.
Oh, my personal plan. Well, I'm so driven by new things. So every time if there's something new, I want to try it. So I don't have really a long-term plan for myself, but I am aware what kind of skills I want to train. For example, I became a father like 3 years ago, which is very thrilling and exciting for me.
Yeah.
Also because I didn't have really a father role in my life, so it was extra exciting. And suddenly I came aware that my attention to my baby wasn't there all the time. I was on my phone and I was thinking about my company, and I thought, no, I want to be here, with my child. So I really had to train this attention muscle in my head, like stay in the moment, and I
And I think a lot of dads have issues, have that same issue, including
Yeah,
myself.
it's difficult. It's difficult because I didn't want to snap out of the moment, but I did it all the time. And I thought, whoa, no, I have to train this muscle again and stay in the moment. And I did that also with sports, with any activity I did. I had the rule for myself to stay in the moment, stay with myself, and stay with the thing with which I was doing when it. So so I trained that muscle, that skill, in sports and in exercise. I can also use it in my family time.
Right.
That's
So a big key for
so
you,
it's a transfer. That's also good to understand that what you train in your exercise, it's not gone when you stop the exercise.
it
You
carries over.
carry it
Absolutely,
on.
it carries over, and some positive and some negative as well.
Also, yeah, both.
Yeah, some negative attributes depending on what sport you're doing. That's why I like the fact that you vary, so
Yeah.
you get a good balance. That's awesome. So where do you see yourself in next 5 or 10 years? What are you gonna do?
Wow.
Are you gonna go
In
professional?
America.
You're gonna be a motorcyclist? What are you gonna do? You pro marathon? What are you thinking about?
Wow. Well, not. I don't know. I don't know.
But you are thinking about America.
I'm thinking about America. Yeah. My book is translated, so people can read it.
Yeah, I think a lot of
So
people would benefit
that's
from.
the first step.
I think a lot of people would benefit from your teaching and your skill set in the States, definitely, because that's a place where you're number one, it's much less health conscious than Italy or Europe as far as wellness, taking time for yourself, family time. That's always automatically put to the side. We have the highest work week in the world. Americans, we're working more hours than anybody in the world
you are
right
hard
now.
work.
We're working too hard, but at the expense of family. And you see that with a lot of the problems that they're having in the youth because the parents are not actually presently raising their children. So when the children are doing all of this stuff in gangs, they're like, what's happening? But it's a problem of being present, actually parenting and balancing the work family equation. That was a big problem for me because I kept on touring and building the company, and I thought in my mind that was the way, keep on fighting and pushing, but at the expense of the family. Only later did I realize, I wasn't really present, and I wasn't present a lot because I was gone on tour, but I wasn't present a lot because of my attitude as well. Phone rang, just like you said, cell phone. Hey, hold on.
Hold on, man.
Yeah, let me answer this text. This is important. When you're saying that to your family, it's supposed to be the most important thing. It's a disconnect. So as you're speaking, I definitely resonate with what you're saying and think that you could be a big benefit in the States, your whole system. Yeah, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you if they want to get at you who are watching this in the States? Because you can do some online consulting and then you can fly in. You're available, right? For
well, I'm very active on LinkedIn. I don't know if that's
give him your LinkedIn. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, my LinkedIn. Yeah. I think if you Google my name, you can find me easily, Fabio 𝙑𝙑𝙑.
Perfect.
The name of my company is not so international. It's Spot Veranderd. Yeah, it's a Dutch name. Yeah, so I have to think about that a little bit more. Well, I have my book, of course, and I think my email address is also in it.
I got it too. Moving Your
Yeah.
Body Intelligently. Let me tell you guys, a really good book. I've been training people for 25, maybe 30 years. And, you know, before I went through the first chapter, I learned something. So it's definitely a good read for all of you guys. And always vary your fitness and your wellness. I tell my clients that all the time. I tell the boxers to get into yoga. I tell them to get into Pilates. Me, myself, I started out dance background, tap, ballet, modern gymnastics, 9 to 10 years. So I was introduced.
Tap dancing, man.
Yeah, I can tap. I can still tap. I can. I was always aware of the emotional content in when you move, and I was always aware of putting a certain grace into your movement. So even if you're doing a squat or a bench press, or just walking or just speaking to people, you're still supposed to be a certain grace in movement that you maintain, that I always got from dancing. And I'm very thankful I got introduced to activity through dance as opposed to other sports, because then it definitely helped me when I was boxing. It helps me in jujitsu, you know. So there's always should be a certain grace, and that grace transcends into your mind state as well.
Yeah,
so
that's how it works.
That's a very important lesson I learned from dancing.
Wow.
But
it's a nice word, grace. It's a beautiful word.
Yeah, there should be a certain grace in all of your movements and in all of your activities. And I think that is definitely lacking in personal training and on the fitness scene right now. You know, even in the grace in which you speak to people, there should always be a certain level of grace in your daily activities that you should practice, that people miss out on because they're so narrow in the sport. You know, or their activity. So you miss out on that. So if you vary your training, you automatically correct imbalances that you don't even know you have. So I'm definitely an advocate of your book. And thank you so much for coming on. If you got any parting words, shoot, man. Any advice you can give to guys like me over 50? Fit over 50. Give some old people some advice.
You asked me to give some advice now?
Yeah. You got one tip for someone like me who's over 50. And
who's
not
over
really
50? You're over 50? Wow.
I'm 53, May 2nd.
Right?
May 2nd. Yeah, my birthday's coming up. So any advice for anybody who's overweight? You know, I'm selfish for myself. So you see, I posed the question for my advantage, right?
Yeah.
Anybody over 50?
You know,
What kind of tip you got for them?
Okay, the next time you do your exercise or your sport or your activity, do it with grace. And afterwards, write down how it felt. And then email it to me.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. So definitely, Fabio, thanks so much for coming on. And I'm going to have you back after we do a session.
Okay.
All right. You're going to give me a session. So we got to definitely exchange. Okay. Well, hang on. I'm going to put the outro on and then we'll talk after this. Peace and love, guys. I hope you got something out of this. Check out the book, Moving Your Body Intelligently. Excellent read. And you can get that Fabio on LinkedIn or you can hit him on email. Peace and love, fam. Watch your diet. Be well.